Hello guys, welcome to the show. It's your boy, Your Truth will set you free. Hashtag SFTS, search for the symbols. I want to give a shout out to all my supporters, everybody who subscribed, everybody who hit that like button, everybody who leave me comments. I thank y'all, I appreciate y'all so much, and thank y'all for your support. There's no me without you, and I cannot express it enough.
Hey, hello guys. Welcome back to the show. It's your boy, Your Truth will set you free. I want to give a shout out to all my supporters. There's no me without you, and I cannot express it enough. So today we're going to get into this video about Martin Luther King Jr. becoming fight promoter Don King. I want you guys to take a good look at the duality in the situation, which Freemasons are very much known for. Duality. How Martin Luther King, his whole image was promoting non-violence, but in return, he became someone who promotes violence. He went from a non-violent activist to one of the most popular fight promoters in the world. Now you know that this is Freemasonic duality, and one of the biggest clues and evidences that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had become Don King. That's one of the evidences. There's other evidences, as well as a distinct time in their life where both of them had a turning point in their lives, and it happened at the same time in both of their lives. They're born right around the same time, 2 years apart, I think. But we're going to call this video How Martin Luther King Became Don King. Yeah, the year of their birth is like a year or two apart, I think, or 1 year apart. But things really line up with these guys, and I want to dig into it and pull out some evidences. You know, I know you probably heard this before, that Martin Luther King is Don King, but you know my videos are way different. Now, this is the facial recognition. As we see on the third picture, we have a 93%. And on the Don King picture, we have a 76%. You see they both facing right. All right, so the facial recognition, notice something about that side of his face. I noticed it too. He has 3 distinct marks on the right side of his right eye. 3 distinct moles, like birthmarks, where they tried to use some plastic surgery and cover it up. So I guess the facial recognition noticed that. The ears are exactly the same. They didn't do much to the ears. They did plastic surgery in other places on his face, but they tried to get away with it, but they didn't do that much of a good job. And they were trying to let us know anyway, because they made him a fight promoter. So that was a dead giveaway. Now, if you take a look at the middle of Martin Luther King Jr.'s face, there's a distinct mark in the middle. I hope you guys can see it. There's a distinct mark. Now, if we look at Don King's face, there's a distinct mark in the middle of his forehead, but it looks a little different. That's because they removed the mark. They removed the mark on Don King's forehead. On Martin Luther King's forehead. And that's why you see it there on Don King's forehead. It looks like a dent. When you remove a pimple or a mole or a mark, that's how it looks. So that's what they tried to do in this situation. What they did was they looked for the most distinct marks on his face, and they tried to remove them or cover them. Like there's another one. There's a mole right there in the middle of his cheek, right there on the right side. And you see it right there on Don King's face also. It's right there. The mole on the right side of the cheek. So that's a dead giveaway. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is definitely have become Don King. They definitely have reinvented him. Both of these guys were definitely Freemasons. They always deny it though. If you take a look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s chin, If you look at his chin, there's a cut there, and there's also more cuts and distinct marks on the side of his mouth. So what they did was they put a skin graft over that area. They did some plastic surgery and tried to put a skin graft over that area. Now, as Don King got older, the skin graft is very obvious because the skin is getting very old and starting to sag. So you can see the skin graft where they try to cover these two marks. If you look closely, there's a cut. You see it right there on Don King's face. And then if you look upper, there's the other marks right there, and you see them on Don King's face. It's like two little holes. And the two little holes are right there on Don King's face also. You can see them clear as day. They tried to cover them up with this skin graft right here. So this is the up close picture, so you can see the exterior of the skin graft. You can see the boundaries of it and where it goes. It's just the amount of size to cover that cut on his chin and the two marks that's on the side of his mouth. And that's what they try to cover. And now he's older and it's getting old and it's like falling off and it's looking obvious. As you see, they try to put a skin graft there and try to cover up his facial marks, which is not really working out now. This is a classic picture of Martin Luther King on the day that he faked his death. If you look on the bottom, lower level, nobody's paying attention to the people on the top level. So that is one indication that this is a scripted picture. They're pointing sky high, way up in the sky. Who knows if that's really where the shots came from? Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of people down there, and they're paying no attention to these people up here or paying attention to Martin Luther King. They don't care what's going on. They just, minding their own business. Now this girl right here is smiling. Why would you be smiling when you have a dead person 2 feet away from you? If you look, you can see the smile on her face. That's because this is a scripted picture and a scripted event. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not die on his day, but he faked his death to become Don King. Martin Luther King Jr. was born January 15, 1929, April 4, 1968. Was an American Baptist minister, activist, and political philosopher who was one of the most prominent leaders in the civil rights movement from 1955 to his assassination in 1968. He advanced civil rights for people of color in the United States through the use of nonviolent resistance. To the use of what? Nonviolent resistance and nonviolent civil disobedience against Jim Crow laws and other forms of legalized discrimination. Key word, nonviolent. That means that his whole activist movement was based on people not hurting each other. On the other hand, you have Don King. He's an American boxing promoter known for his involvement in several historic boxing matchups. King's career highlights include, among other enterprises, promoting the Rumble in the Jumble. Notice the R and the J for duality, which is backwards. The Rumble in the Jungle, like JR and Martin Luther King Jr. And the Thriller in Manila. Then you see the MT for Martin and the, like Martin Luther King. Now, these two pictures right here, this picture right here is a scripted picture. Out of all the boxing matches that he had, why would they put the white one and the black one? This is just to show the duality of the situation, how he's promoting a fight between a black boxer and a white boxer. Because when he was Martin Luther King, he was promoting nonviolence between these two races. So that's why they made this picture right here, to throw it in our face and to let us know that Don King is the new Martin Luther King. And you see the LM33. Don King, he has also been a longtime supporter of Donald Trump. On June 10, 1987, King was made a Mason at sight by the Grandmaster Odise J. Cal Jr. of the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Ohio, thereby making him a Prince Hall Freemason. Yes, he is a Freemason. Martin Luther King was also a Freemason, but they always deny it. In the public records, they always say that he's not a Freemason, but he had a whole lot of Freemason friends. His father and his grandfather was a Freemason, and they say that he already was planning to become a Freemason. Here's a picture of Don King and Donald Trump. All right, Don King plays the Republican card. You know that most black people are Democrats, so the duality in the situation, they make him a Republican. And this is way before any black people like Republicans like that. But they made him a proud Republican just to show the duality in the situation. To show that he was the opposite of Martin Luther King. To show that he was the opposite and to show the duality in the situation. That's why they made him a proud Republican. Okay? According to the information on the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, Georgia's website, Dr. King was good friends with Grandmaster Excel Neal, both who came out of Morehouse College. The legend claims that Grandmaster Neal had promised to make Dr. King a Mason when he came back from sanitation strike in Memphis, but his face would have it, Dr. King never made it back from Memphis. However, in 1999, Grandmaster Benjamin Barksdale gave him a posthumous honor by declaring him a member of the craft and presented it to his widow, Coretta Scott King, at the Morehouse celebration for our civil rights leader. Okay? He declared him a member of the craft. That means that he practiced Freemasonry things, and he was doing Freemasonry things, and he was a Freemason. All right? This is proof right here. They let it be known. All right? Now, this is an article that I found. The civil rights movements of the 1960s grew in strength and needed to be reined in by force leaders supplied by intelligence. Among them were people like Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall, Medgar Evers, Jesse Jackson, and Ralph Abernathy. But the most prominent of them was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This post examined his real origins, a 1959 arrest where he was chosen to become a new mayor with a fake background, a powerful public speaker named Dr. Martin Luther King, who apparently lived on to become fight promoter Don King. Predictably, the civil rights movement was left in tatters after King's fake assassination in 1968. As force leaders do, he led his followers into a brick wall. His was an exercise in false hope. Now they put right here the events that happened with the events that match up with Don King and Martin Luther King. 1951, Don King engaged in illegal bookmaking. It's well before MLK's period of activism, so there's no evidence that they are not the same man. 1954, he killed Hillary Brown, shooting him in the back as he attempted to rob one of his gambling houses. It was ruled justifiable homicide. April 20th, 1966, he killed Sam Garrett and I don't know what that word is. Bargee him to death. He was convicted of murder in the second degree and was sentenced to prison for a period of 1 to 20 years. There's no mugshot to accompany this event. In 1972, he was released from prison after serving 3 years and 11 months. 3 years and 11 months, that's 33. He was pardoned that year by Ohio governor. So, the year that Don King went to jail, Martin Luther King was shot, like 1 year after. Martin Luther King Jr. was a polished public speaker, as with all actors. He did not write his own material. I can't believe that he, as an actor, reading his lines was rehearsed and prepared for his role of a lifetime. That's what actors do. In movies, there was William Wallace in Braveheart, Samwise Gamgee in The Lord of the Rings, Bluto in Animal House. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? And Pat O'Brien for Knute Rockne All-American win for one Gimper? The point is that Martin Luther King Jr. was a hired actor, and his 1954 killing of Hillary Brown, if it was really Don King, was whitewashed. He was given a fake degree and a fake background, and read and memorized speeches written for him by some of the best in the business. The same people that wrote most of our presidential speeches and popular music, and the point and to stand behind and operate the hand up the rear for public officials. Alright, these are pictures of Don King where he went to jail. Alright, the one on the left kind of looks like him, the one on the right looks nothing like him. The photo to the left here, up above, does not align with either Don King or Martin Luther King's face. The photo on the right here, lower below, however, aligns with both. So 2 problems. Notice the 2 red arrows, they point at the upper helix on each, which to me look identical. Green arrows point at the concha, upper concha, which lightly distorts a bit, but which oddly reflects the upper bar of light on both photos. The yellow arrow pointed at the upper interhelix pronounced on both, and with the same upper curve on both. The blue arrow points at the intertragal notch pronounced on the left, growing close on the right. So the ears are basically exactly the same. So what we take from all of this is that these guys were definitely the same person. The year that Martin Luther King got shot, a year later, Don King serves a 3-year prison sentence, and then he comes out as a new man. So these things happen simultaneously. So when he's supposed to be in jail, that's when they did the plastic surgery and reinvented him. Please like, please subscribe, please share this video, and please leave a comment. Y'all know I love the comments. I thank you, I appreciate you for your time. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I'll see you on the next one.